Welcome, everybody. I am so excited today. I got my big bro here with me. He is Demetrius L. Okay, don't forget the L Brown. He is the co-founder and COO of FUBU Radio, but that's not all what he does. He does a lot of things. But one of the things that I know he talks to me about is branding yourself, expanding your brand. That this is huge. This is what people see. This is what people are listening to. This is what people are watching. You, your business, everything. But I'm going to let him explain that. So, Demetrius, please introduce yourself, sir.
Yes. What's up, Michelle Lenore? What's going on with you? I got. Before I introduce myself, man, I got it. Michelle, she done got me out. I've been in the trenches. I've been buried, and this was my first time back on camera since October. So
see, 2024, baby, come
on. But again, my name is Demetrius L. Brown, aka the Business Point Guard. So everybody, if you hit a business point guard, that's me. Co-founder of FUBU Radio, partner with a great guy, Keith Perrin, who was one of the founders of FUBU. We created FUBU Radio. And my specialty is marketing. It's marketing and branding, is brand communication.
I love it. And, so we hear a lot of stuff that's happening, being in this digital world. And one of the things I've heard is that if you've ever recorded it and then you deleted it, that people can still find it. And so that's a part of branding. What is branding? And then what is marketing? And then the core, because people, a lot of times they'll say branding and marketing. Is it the same thing? And if you could explain that for us.
Well, branding is the bullhorn. It's like the communication platform. Branding is actually it's creating an identity of who you are. So let's say McDonald's, the M, the French fries, the arch, the golden arch, but the Big Mac, the chicken nuggets, or you remember the Big and Tasty. And so branding is what you see. It's not the product, and people confuse the product and their services with branding. Now, branding is that M behind you, that brand behind you. They never see your face, but they understand that ML, that's branding. And marketing, advertising, social media, all that stuff falls under the umbrella of branding.
I love it. And that's really important for us to recognize that. And that's how come we have to work on our brand. I remember I went to a all women's retreat. It was about a couple of years ago. And this lady, she is a beast when it comes to the branding and the marketing. Like, she's very meticulous. And even after that retreat, I remember coming back and we all had a group call, and she said something and it clicked for me. I'm like, do I want my brand to stand out and look like this, or do I want it to look like that? And within that time, I don't know why I didn't get it there, but sometimes, you don't get it until you get it. And I changed mine because I wanted to have a certain feel. I wanted to have a certain look. So when people, like you say, when they see that, right, they feel a certain way, and things like that. So tell us about like the psychology, like behind that, because sometimes as women, we want to have that soft, cursive look. Like I do have the cursiveness in some of my stuff that I market, but even the psychology behind that.
Well, it's a two-part thing, because it's the psychology is from the business owner standpoint and from your target audience. Now, from the business owner standpoint, we have to be patient enough and take the time to really dissect our brand, dissect what we really want to do, and dissect who we're trying to reach. And if we take that time, we will come up with what the image and what we're trying to communicate. But the problem is everybody wants things quick, so social media and all this online stuff, they have psyched, you use the word psychology, they have psyched people out to say, okay, you got to get this business started, you got to get it up, or you got to get this LLC started. As soon as you get this LLC, you're gonna get business funding. It's so much reverse psychology. When I say reverse, because when we're talking about psychology, and what we're talking about is good branding, we're talking about good, well-groomed entrepreneurs. So what? Not all. So don't. Not all, but a lot of social media posts are trying to create bad entrepreneurs. They're trying to create more confusion in the business. Why? Because they make money from confusing you. Confusing you, so you have to come back to them to rebrand. But if I'm telling all your business owners, entrepreneurs out there, just be patient. Be patient. Understand what your product is, understand what your service is, understand who you're trying to reach, and understand how you're going to reach them. And if you take that time, I promise you, you'll come up with a smooth look, you'll come up with a nice image and a nice message.
I like that. You pointed something out that's just huge. And you said that people make money in the confusion and in the chaos. And I remember working with one client, and I laid everything out for him because we were getting him set up for his business. And I told him, I've given you the list of all the fees that you have to pay. This is what you have to do. The state will reach out for this. And all of a sudden, he got this letter that said, you have to pay this right now. You're an employer. You're going to have employees. You have to pay this $195 and this, that, and the other. And of course, I didn't know because they mailed it to him. And so when we had a conversation a week later, he was like, oh, yeah. He was like, I already paid that. I was like, what are you talking about? What did you pay? What are you talking like, what did you do? And he was like, it was a letter that came in the mail and it said, urgent. You're a new business. You're going to have to pay for this. I was like, if you look at the bottom, that has nothing to do with the government. I was like, you just paid your $195 to somebody. You're not going to get your money back. I don't even know if you're going to get anything in the mail. You might get something in the mail that's saying that they're going to mail something to you, but you pay for something that you did not need. And so I love when you said, people are making money in the confusion, and we don't want our brand to have any confusing messaging behind it. So how do we, again, because I know you had listed out some steps, just really making sure that our communication is clean.
Michelle, let me back up.
Okay.
Let me back up. And you said about the guy, and that's when patience come in. We're so busy. We're so excited, and we're so eager to reach a level of success that we never planned it for. And in that eagerness, when we see things, we don't read, we don't look at the fine line. But I tell people, when you get mail and you get something, just take a moment, just leave it there, because guess what? It ain't gonna be no urgent now, less urgent than tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So you take that moment, but we in this moment of, I gotta get it done, I gotta get it done, I gotta get it done, and you're messing yourself up because you're not really getting done. Because him paying that $195 set him back, because that's money that's money he could have used on the real filing of what he needed to do. Right. So I just wanted to touch on that.
No,
that was a question before I interrupted.
Oh, no, that was good. No, I'm glad you explained. Look, you can interrupt. We've done this. So you guys don't know, Demetrius and I, we had a show. We're gonna revive it when it's time, but It's all about business. We talk all about business. There's so much opportunity out there, because we're gonna talk about that more at the end when we talk about government contracts. Y'all know I was gonna put that in, right? I knew I was gonna slip that government contract that in, right? So when it comes to communication to our target audience, what are some things that we need to look out for that we said, okay, this is our avatar, this is my target, but I'm missing the target? And you would know, because FUBU Radio has how many listeners?
We have over 600,000 listeners worldwide.
Okay, so y'all had to, you did this, you did that. So how were you able to hone that in to make sure that you were getting the right listener, within your space of genius that you guys are doing within FUBU Radio?
Well, one thing we did, Keith and I, before we even launched the station, we sat down. We were like, okay, what's what's wrong with radio? What's the complaint that people are having when it comes to radio? And then we was like, okay, let's form the station according to the behavior of who we. So we started a hip hop and R&B station, and we said, okay, we're gonna play old school. But we started the station. Well, let me back up. I started an online station back in '06 when people didn't really know what it was. And I happened to be doing a live broadcast at a fashion show, and the FUBU guys were there. Keith called Jay. They were there, and that's how I met Keith. And some years later, I was like, okay, hey, man, I see FUBU making a comeback. They got a blah, blah, blah. I said, hey, let's start FUBU Radio. He said, man, I don't know radio. We know fashion. So it was like, now we want to start a radio station. So, I kept sending him statistics because, again, FUBU, the brand, it kind of silenced a little bit in North America, but it was still doing good overseas. And it was coming back because I used to see Keith the little text and like, look, man, people talking about you. So I stayed on it because I saw the benefit and I understood the demographics of FUBU, what they stood for us, by us. And a year later, Keith called me. He said, man, let's start a radio station. But we just didn't launch it. We sat down again. We're like, okay, what's the problem? Well, people's tired of hearing the same 10 songs over and over again. Okay, that's what we're not going to do. What we going to mix in? Man, hip-hop, they don't play none of the old school. People want to hear some old school. Old school people want to hear new school stuff. Okay, the stations are not mixing it. Okay, this is what we're going to do. How we're going to bring in people. We're going to let them be. What's wrong with the on-air talent? Well, they're suppressed. They can't be stars. People can't relate to them. So we paid attention to the things that were holding, especially urban radio back and urban broadcasters back. And we came up with a solution and said, okay, hey, let's be the solution to the problem. And that's how, throughout the years, we started in 2015. Through now, we made some great changes, brought in some great people, staff, executive team. And from that, based on our research, and we focused on the behavior of people, and we turned it around to look at how can we serve that behavior and how can we become a benefit to the people we're serving. And that's how we became successful.
I love it. You said, it was, no, that was perfect because you were like, how can I benefit? How can we benefit people who are listening? And so y'all really heard people's voices. It wasn't like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And either you like it or you don't, again, having a clear message and knowing that you're there to help people. And I had one of my mentors ask me yesterday, she was like, what do you do? I know you do everything, but like, what do you actually do? I was like, she was like, do you have it? And I said, and I do have it. And I think for me that because a lot of people don't understand government contracts, and I go way, she's like, no, I need you to, it's like, what do people understand? And so I always put the LinkedIn in there. LinkedIn is really important. It's more important than people believe it to be as concerning your communication. I've tried a couple of things on LinkedIn just to see what type of communication, what type of response I get. And it always comes back to what I do. And that is helping people become the go-to vendor for whoever their client is. It's like, you are this $1 million brand that they're looking for, but do you know how to present yourself? And so hence, you're talking about great, clear messaging, knowing who your client is. And I would have to say, okay, so I'm segueing into that government contract, that believe it or not, that the government should be one of your clients. Just plain and simple. If you pay taxes in the United States of America and you have a net worth under a certain amount of money, for some certifications is 1.32 million. Other ones, it's like 750,000 if that's your revenue. Not your revenue, I'm sorry. If that's your intake, that's your income. Then there are certain certifications that you need to be qualified as a minority. But, okay, I always say the but that should never stop anyone who wants to do business with the government, because everybody don't have those certifications. Microsoft, right? They don't have that certification. They're worth, I forgot, I looked them up. I don't know if they're in the billions or the trillions. The other thing, and it's so funny, I had told a couple of folks, I was like, guess what I learned at church today? I was like, I found out that Budweiser beer, I know this is weird when you be like, you learned this in church, that they have a contract with the government.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah.
So
because you got commissaries, you got the commissaries, you got the PX, all that stuff. So yeah.
And so when we look at the opportunity of what's out there, like for you, I had looked something up, and within the state of North Carolina, because right there is where you're stationed at right now, or that's where your studio is at right now, and this is one of three. Is it one of three studios? What, North Carolina, yes, New York, and Atlanta. That's where I'm
yes.
Atlanta, right? And so even with that, even within the community colleges, the colleges, they're looking for companies that have marketing experience. I just went out just this morning. I was like, let me just see. I'm not going to do a whole lot of scrub through. And I came across 10 opportunities in marketing within just the colleges. And we know that a lot of the colleges are state colleges, ran by the state, or at least they get state money because of FAFSA and student loans and all this other type of stuff. So it's like, there is like great opportunity that is out there for you guys. So if you're saying like, really, Michelle, in marketing, everything that Demetrius do. Okay, so Demetrius, what else do you do? So I can say, yeah, the government does that too.
Well, I'm a communication strategist. They look for, with the government. Matter of fact, I get stuff from the VA all the time. They looking for, matter of fact, VA looking, they are people to come in and help veterans start their business. So the funny thing is, everything you're saying is true, because again, I'm a veteran, and so now I get the things that I registered with the veteran business. So now it's like I get a whole bunch of stuff in from that. But one thing you always say, Michelle, you got to do it. If you don't do it, you will never know. So what harm would it be to do it and not getting, not be able to do something, then doing it and getting the calls, being prepared for it. So, I know you always say, hey, do it, just get it done. So, but no, you're correct. And you said something earlier. You said, what do? You're a communication specialist connector between people and the government. That's what that's it in less than 6 words right there. You help people communicate to the government through their brand. That's Michelle Lenore right there.
Oh, see, y'all heard it. See, look, I'm gonna listen to it.
That's but that's what it is. But honestly, before you do that though, help Michelle help you, because again, Michelle, she knows what she's doing. It's so funny. Years she registered herself with over 30 states, and I was like, oh, why you doing? I just want to prove to people it ain't hard to do. I said, okay, and you really couldn't use it, right? You just did it because you wanted to show people it wasn't hard to do. But you need to help Michelle help you, and that comes to branding, because before they honor a contract, they're gonna go look for the website. They're gonna make sure that your trade, you ain't infringing on somebody else's trademark and on somebody else's copyright. They're gonna make sure that you are legal. So help Michelle help you. Bring your company, make sure everything is in order. And I promise you, Michelle could set you up and put you in a position that, if your business qualified, you can get government contracting.
No, absolutely. And if you're thinking, Michelle, what I do, the government doesn't need, I want you to look at the government as a very large household, because that's what they are. They are the largest household in the world. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I hear they're the largest client. Let's look at them as a household. And in my household, when I was growing up, there was 10 of us. Yes, y'all. My parents had 4 girls and 4 boys. Just imagine things that was needed: food, toiletries, um, blankets, pillows, socks, undergarments. I mean, as you name it, the government needs it. So don't think that what you offer is too small. Don't think that what you offer is too big. Somebody else is out there. Us women, it's like before I started, press record on this, I had stepped away. I was like, and I know Demetrius heard me. I was like, where's my lip gloss? Now, mind you, you guys know as that we have how many things of lip gloss? Come on, Demetrius. How many things of lip gloss does your wife have? Or how many sticks of lipstick does she have?
A lot. And one might be in the car, one might be in the house, one might be, a lot.
Come on. And so, and they're not all the same brand. They don't come from all the same company. You're like, oh, I want to try this one. Oh, I want to try this one. So again, whatever you have out there, you want to brand it right. And I know Demetrius is like, yeah, let Michelle help you. But if you don't know where to start, then look at Demetrius and see what him and the co-founder did really with FUBU Radio, and just watch his flow. He posts things out there. So if you're on LinkedIn, he posts things out there. If you're on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, most definitely follow FUBU Radio and watch how they flow. They got things that's coming up. We talked about it before we press record. They got some great things that's coming up. That all took time and branding. And I love when you say just take your time. But sometimes if you don't have time, then you get an expert or someone who knows what to do. Yeah. So what you got coming? So I'm gonna let you close this out, but go ahead. You was about to say something.
Yeah. Also, too, before you get the expert, I still encourage you to take that time, because what will happen, you get an expert and you don't know what the direction you want to go. It's people out there going to take your money. It's going to take every drop of your money, because they notice, okay, this person ain't together. They don't know what they want. So just take the time. And I know some of y'all probably saying, oh man, it's 2024. We already in February. I got to get my business. I got to get my Instagram stuff. I got to get this post. I got to get this, got to get that. And you just need to just sit down. Stop being rushed by time and just sit down and understand your God-given purpose. And Michelle, I had to throw the God-given purpose in. Now, you know me. But
absolutely.
Understand what that purpose is.
I know, absolutely. And I see, I got a question from Anna. I hope I'm saying her name right. And she says, what about a nonprofit? Can a nonprofit contract with the government? So that is a yes and no question. I know you'd be like, how could it be a yes and no question, Michelle? Now, they do have contracts out there for nonprofits. They are close to slim and none, but they have so many grants out there. So many grants. And I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there. It's called grants.gov. Grant.gov. Go ahead and sign up with them. This is great for profits and for nonprofits, but it's really great for the nonprofits. There's so many opportunities that's out there for education, for youth, for business consultants, for marketing. It's all of that that's out there right now. I just saw one that was for helping youths throughout the whole United States. And I think they were going to give out like 10 or 11 grants. And the lowest amount they were going to give out was $750,000. But, okay, I always have to say the but. Now, Demetrius was talking about your branding. They're not going to give you $750,000 if you don't have what did you say, your website? What else? What else we need?
Your website. You got to make sure that you're registered as a business. They can go on federal government to see that you are a business, that you have a EIN number, because if your business ain't paying no taxes, they ain't finna give you no money. Well, I'm surprised you didn't touch on that, because that was one of your biggest things, pay them taxes. But
and that's it. That's it. I mean, and even when you say that, it's like, what are government grants and contracts? It is the money that is being utilized from taxes. That's all that it is. When we give taxes, they have services. This is how they pay for those services. But you can continue.
And one thing too, to answer her question too, don't be scared to partner. If you got your things together and you see another business got it, it can be a for-profit business, and you can offer your service to that, and y'all become a partnership. And again, if they're positioned right, you can get the government contract through that partnership. Because Michelle, help me out on this. I was talking to a young lady, and she was like, now government are not looking for solo companies no more. They're looking for partnerships, companies that's partnering who can actually solve the problem quicker and more efficient. I'm gonna let you touch.
No, you're correct about that, because the thing is that if for some reason, if I'm down on myself, whatever's happening within my company, and I'm like, Demetrius, I'm gonna pull out, you be like, and you will not, because we've partnered together. My name is on the line too. What are we talking about? So even with that support of that partner, that is really, really huge. And that's how a lot of people are winning it. It's like when you have more people that's a part of that RFP, that bid, that contract, that grant. I'm telling you, man, it makes you look more solid. So you are correct about that.
And stop using Gmail. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm about to go to.
Yeah, I was like, there's a whole nother Gmail, Hotmail. Yes.
So this is my one last thing I'm saying. I'm sorry. I know lunchtime, but stop using Gmail, your business at Gmail. Make sure you get your business.com. It can be whatever your name is, your business.com, because your business at Gmail, that's not professional. And what it looks like, okay, if they can't invest into an email account, why should we invest into them? So I'm gonna leave. That's a whole nother subject right there. I just want to share that. But you asked me, what do I have coming up?
Yes.
Okay. But like I said, FUBU Radio, we're doing some great things. We're actually adding. We're working on a business segment that we're gonna start going through. Michelle used to be one of the experts on there. We have an experts corner, and we're creating a directory because we want to start pushing our businesses. So, but again, go to FUBU Radio and go to DemetriusLBrown.com, and you can see what we got going on. And Michelle, thank you for having me.
No, I appreciate you coming on and talking about branding again. This is about FUBU Radio. FUBU is one of the biggest brands that we have seen, and so this is huge. So I knew you had some great nuggets to give us. I put Demetrius' information at the bottom. Please check him out on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and remember, don't forget the L, Demetrius L. Brown. He got a lot of things that's happening, but reach out to him. Thank you guys so much for joining us during lunch, and you guys have a super, super great day. Bye-bye.